Elijah Moore
is on the Bills.
Will be the Bills' wide receiver what this year?
Ooh. Boy. Four.
Four? Final? Pass catcher.
Yeah, I know. Right. And that's the fourth on the list of pass catchers on the Bills last year was like 20-some catches.
31.
31.
Mac Hollins, Curtis Samuel tied. Does that surprise you that Curtis Samuel had as many as Mac Hollins? 31?
I guess. Yeah, I guess in the end it does. So I'm signing up for 30 catches if I say receiver 4. I mean, who's he going to catch more than? Palmer? I don't think so. Shakir, no.
Kincaid, no.
Kincaid, better no. It better be a no. Then,
cool.
I don't know.
Samuel even? Who's more relevant, Samuel or Elijah Moore?
I wonder that since they signed Moore has felt like it could be. And I look, I'm just feeling around here. It's May, all right? That could be a one or the other thing to
Room
me.
for one guy?
Yeah. Like I think there's enough duplication there. Not say anything about the rest of the receiving core, which there's also plenty of that already. But I think Moore just sort of adds to it. It was like the one thing that you could raise your hand and say when when he was visiting, and then he ultimately pretty quickly turned around and signed him. Like, okay, but it's another guy who, sure, okay, so snap share. It's a little more varied than you think. He's not exactly pigeonholed as a slot guy more, but it's probably where most people would tell you he's makes the most sense to want to use him. And you can say that about how many of the Bills receivers.
All of them.
Right? So
pretty much. Coleman, it's not even a joke. Coleman, yes. Right?
Yeah.
Big slot. Bill said no.
It's just not going to happen.
Samuel,
sure.
yes.
Yep.
Shakir, definitely.
Kincaid.
Kincaid is same, right?
Right.
F wide receiver.
So it's I just want, like, if Samuel steps wrong again in the summer and there's a, whatever it is, it's an ankle or a toe or a quad or whatever, he's got something that's bothering him, I think he should be looking over his shoulder big time. I just think Moore is, if nothing less, Moore is, or if nothing more than this, I didn't want to say
it's
Moore.
It's tricky now,
Moore.
right? Moore. His name is Moore.
He's Samuel insurance to some extent. I think because if something were to happen and Curtis Samuel decided tomorrow, I'm done playing football, I can't do this anymore. You're like, well, I've got Elijah Moore here.
Palmer I didn't mention when thinking about whether they all would be best suited for the slot. Palmer I don't think is. So he's one that I wouldn't say that about.
Okay.
Hollins is gone. Wouldn't say that about him. Cooper is not back. I wouldn't say that about him.
Right.
But of the guys they have, all of them except Palmer, I think, are probably in a vacuum your slot receiver.
So I just don't think all those guys have to make the team. I think you could live in a world where your 5 are on game day. Maybe there's a 6th one who hangs around and doesn't get a uniform necessarily on game day, but you've got Palmer, Shakir, Coleman, one of Samuel or Elijah Moore, and who am I leaving out here?
I don't know. We have these conversations, and I feel like every time one doesn't get mentioned, and they all kind of sound the same. Put them in any order you want. Organizational incentives with Coleman and Kincaid, like bigger investments.
It really depends on what they're going to do with a guy like say Chenault, or if
now we're talking,
or if they want to leave some room for anyone to be a surprise. If the Terrell Shavers of the world, okay, but really, the 5 guys I just mentioned are the top 5 guys on the depth chart. So, maybe Samuel, somebody from the back would have to really work to displace one of those 5 guys. Because the top 5 are the names that I mentioned. So maybe they don't have to choose between Moore or Samuel. But from a body type standpoint, wouldn't you maybe want to hang on to a bigger guy to have him around to do what Coleman's doing for you if something happens to Coleman or Palmer? So it could get crowded, and that's where the duplicate point. See, what a segment this has been. I had an opinion, I talked myself out of it, and I've talked myself right back out of it again.
Back into it again.
Right. Sorry. I don't know out or in. I'm so confused.
More or less in out.
It's a long holiday weekend.
Coleman, Palmer, Moore, Samuel.
In recovery here. But
it's the Bills receiver room in a microcosm here.
Right.
It's a nutshell.
Right.
It's like everything's confusing. The order is different every day. The drafted capital investment is a fine point in terms of Coleman and Kincaid, but the other guys all got paid pretty well.
Yeah.
Shakir, definitely. Shakir's not really a question. And Moore is almost 4 years younger than Curtis Samuel, by the way, even though he's been in the league.
Yeah.
Just turned 25.
Yeah.
So he's got that in his favor. I don't know.
I got to work to not be down on Samuel because of the way the season went.
He had a good playoff.
He did finish strong. Yeah, that's what I need to remember is that he finished strong. The problem is that came after months of often when in conversation about them, it taking me reading his name on the injury report to remember he's on the team. And I work here. Like that happened to me on a more than it should have basis. I won't say a regular basis because I knew Curtis Samuel was on the team intellectually, but it was easy to kind of forget about him.
Yes, it was.
But he did finish strong, and there's reason I think to think he was finally healthy, and you got a glimpse of it, and it was pretty effective. Maybe with a clean runway and a clean bill of health, he can stay healthy, and we get that.
Had a good playoff, which is what you got from me just then. It means this. 3 for 68 and a touchdown against Denver. There was that big one. 2 for 9 against Baltimore. 1 for 4 and a touchdown against Kansas City. Not massive.
That's
6 catches. That's 3 more than Coleman.
I don't think that's even good.
No, it's 2 touchdowns is what it is. Right. And in the meaningless Patriot game, he went 7 for 52. 5 for 58 and 1 against Kansas City. In the win in the regular season was his best game. Samuel. Underdog Fantasy.com has pick'ems, and they have an over-under. They don't call it over-under. High or lower. I need to remember this for tomorrow because I'm doing Matthew Collar's podcast tomorrow, and it's Underdog sponsored. It's very important.
You want to have the lingo down for them.
They're not over-unders at Underdog. It's more of like a casino term, I guess. For some reason, they don't call it that. High or lower. Higher or lower number of starts this year by Shedeur Sanders. Want to guess the number? You're good at these. What line would have been set?
I don't know if I'm good at these.
For how many games he starts for Cleveland? Or if you rather, what would you guess he would? How much would he start? We're going to take it from what I would do is I'm take it from that standpoint. Go for it.
Yeah. I'm going to say they set the number at 4.5.
2.5.
Ooh.
Well, Bulldogs in on higher for Shedeur Sanders.
I gotta go bet. Where is that again?
Underdog Fantasy. Use your account. You already have an account.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
At Underdog.
Yeah. Facial recognition and all that. They know who I am.
The schnauzer is up. The pug is up.
They see me coming.
The pug is up today. You know I'm on that. I have a pug.
You got to be in the pug.
I'm glad one of the big ones, the big dog is one of their bigger contests. The Rottweiler, one of these. I'm glad I don't have a bigger dog because that's a higher entry fee. The pug is sort of a modest entry fee.
Befitting the name. Yeah, okay.
Not quite on the mini schnauzer level, but still, affordable. 2.5 starts for Shedeur Sanders. I'm very curious, I think we all are, just how the Browns play it at quarterback with 2 rookies, Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. I think anything is possible. Anything is possible there. Week 1. They have the Bengals in week 1. Really, they could do. It's not going to be Dylan Gabriel, right?
No,
he's not going to start. That's not possible.
And I don't think it's going to be Shedeur Sanders either.
Okay, well, probably not.
So
you start with the veteran.
One of them. I would guess Flacco. I would expect him to look, if they're going to do it based on who looks best in practice. I'll bet Flacco's going to look the best in practice. So I think he'll win the job, and I hope he beats the Bengals.
Yes, I guess.
I'm not worried about the Browns too much, and I think you got reason to be worried about the Bengals. So ding them with a loss to the lousy Browns. Good.
And unless you have changed your mind, you're not taking them. That's not going to be your survivor pick. The Giants in Washington was going to be your survivor pick, right?
I don't remember now.
You have time.
Okay, good.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
3.5 months almost. 100 days.
Well, there you go.
You have 100 days. It's less than 3.5 months. You have today is 100 days from the opening game.
Hey, what's a unit of measure to signify the passing of time that no one ever uses? I got it. 100 days. Great. Let's just get some graphics made up and get that all over the TV today.
It feels like more.
It always does.
It feels like it should be more than 100 days away. It just turned nice. Like it's summer now.
Yeah.
And already we're counting down the days to fall.
Well, we're not really. So someone is.
No, that's right. You and I are not.
I'm not.
We're not. There's going to be any. Oh, it's 99 days away.
We're
tomorrow.
mentioning it today out of a professional obligation.
100 days.
That's it.
Just for I remembered. I was trying to estimate the amount of time. I remembered today is 100 days. Paul Hamilton will join us at 6. Lots of hockey to talk about. The playoffs.